and welcome to Samira's Network, live from Hollywood. We are on OITN TV, and we're going live for you. This is going to be one of my favorite shows. And today I would like to introduce to you my amazing celebrity guest, Louis Perry. Welcome to Samira's Network and live from Hollywood on OITN TV.
Thank you for the invite. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. We have a very powerful man here. Wait till everybody hears their story. It's going to be amazing. So thank you for joining us. He's been on Fox and Channel 9 and many, many televisions, and this is just another one. And today, my co-host is Kaya and Veronica.
Hi, everybody. We are just so honored and so proud to be here with you guys.
Yes. And of course, our huge event coming up that we're always talking about it, our Oscar viewing gala. Please introduce yourself, Kaya.
I'm Kaya Redford. I am in awe of this amazing woman. She does incredible things. She has an Oscar viewing gala coming up on. People get to tune in from all over the world. We are here with an esteemed panel of guests, entrepreneurs, leaders, and they say your circle of influence is what is the most important thing in life, and this is our circle of influence, and whatever we can do today to inspire you, to give you some inspiration with this incredible man's story and how he's literally stepped into a role of protecting U.S. presidents and protecting this world. And Samira, the amazing things you're up to, and Miss Veronica Larea, incredible leader in real estate.
Of course, Veronica, you guys are amazing. Last week I was in one of your seminars. Yes. That was just amazing. So that was amazing too. Mr. Perry, would you also like to introduce yourself to our audience?
Sure. My name is Louis Perry. I'm the president of Kadima Security Services and the owner. I'm also the inspector for the State of California Athletic Commission. That represents all the boxing and MMA and the UFC and Bellator and some of the other major companies that provide sports entertainment around the world.
I would like to say I feel safe with you.
Yes.
We're all going to be safe doing that event
Yes.
with so many people coming and going.
Of course, we have the best security in America, right?
Well, I don't know if we're the best security company in America, but we'll make sure that everybody goes home safely.
Thank you.
And that's the most important.
So we know everybody at the Oscar viewing gala is going to come in safe and go in safe.
Yes.
You work with a lot of celebrities, and
Yes.
you've worked with presidents such as.
We've worked with Bush. We've worked with Clinton. We've also worked with Al Gore. We've worked with Bill and Hillary and Ronald Reagan.
Wow.
I'd love to ask you a question about that.
Mm-hmm.
Most people, they go through life and they don't discover what their true purpose is. And it seems like you have a story on how that whole thing unfolded, which is a fascinating story. Do you mind sharing with us?
Yeah, I mean, basically I was a kid from Brooklyn, New York, and as a kid in Brooklyn, New York, I worked around a lot of Jewish people in the shmata business, which is called also people that were Islamic, Latinos, African Americans. So I was kind of raised around all ethnicities, and from being raised around all ethnicities, I was loved and taken in by all, which doesn't really happen. Today, with Kadima Security, we do a huge sector of the Persian community. That's who kind of adopted me when I moved from New York to Los Angeles in the Beverly Hills area. I used to do every single Persian community family in Beverly Hills, and one of my partners actually is a Persian family by the name of Yoshifar, and the Yoshifar family, and I've done all the top Persian families basically in Beverly Hills still currently. And it's been a pleasure. They've been really wonderful to me. They've treated me like a son, and they've accepted me into their world, and every person of all ethnicities has pretty much opened the door to me.
Who is the most powerful Persian family or business that you worked with?
Well, one thing about the Persian community, I'm not going to fall into that trap. Everybody thinks they're the top. So I'm not going to say that any specific family is the top Persian family, because that'll get me in trouble.
And if you
let me just say, I won't even go there. But let me just say the Persian community has a lot of very, very powerful, wonderful families who do many, many great things throughout Los Angeles. The most powerful people in the Persian Jewish community and Persian community period, rather Muslim or what have you, are Persians that don't blast their name out because they are just there. And they don't need to do it. They do their good deeds, and they don't tell anybody about it. So the Persian community is doing a lot of great things throughout not just California, but throughout the world and United States.
So how is it, I'd like to ask that question, how is it protecting the president than a celebrity? Like, how do you go in differently, like your whole system? How does it work?
Well,
do you know what I mean? I'm sure, but do people more attack the president thing or the celebrity thing? Which one is like, how do you?
Every person has a different perspective and following. Some people want a security person to shadow them, which means you just stay back, you're there. If something occurs, then you step in. Then there's other celebrities that want you to be right on top of them, right with them, side by side. So it's almost like ordering a pizza. Some people like the pizza well done, light sauce, onions, no tomatoes. You know, that's how it is. And so every person has a different personality. So we provide the security based on what their needs are. They'll ask our opinion and say, no, we want it done this way. There's a lot of celebrities that have a following that is an aggressive following. There's some celebrities that are huge that walk by themselves. I remember back in the day when I first got into this business, coincidentally, I saw Steve Martin driving a Honda, the smallest Honda you could drive with primer on it, driving to do a movie with Eddie Murphy. But then you could see other celebrities, and I won't mention their names, they'll come with a Phantom Rolls Royce, 3 Bentleys, 2 Ferraris, and a SUV. So every celebrity has a different formula of how they want to be seen and how they want to be covered, and we basically cater to their needs, making sure of one thing, that their safety is the first and foremost.
There must be a lot of training that goes into getting your team ready for this.
Absolutely.
The background of
Well,
training.
here's the background. As you know, we're doing this wonderful Samira special event that she has coming up, the big Oscar party. So in doing that, I had to... oh, you're definitely going to be safe. I had to evaluate the location.
You went into... You were amazing. He already dotted, sent me stuff.
Yeah.
We had to evaluate the location, evaluate where the officer is going to be, evaluate what the hours are going to be, evaluate what the exit strategy would be, evaluate who would walk on the red carpet, where they would end up at the red carpet, who would direct traffic to a certain door to let people come in so that all doors are not entry points. I like to work off a one-way in on the main entry, one-way out. And, you know, so there's a lot of things that you have to look at. I'd like to share a funny story with you. This is probably one of the best ones that I'd like to share.
We love stories.
Is it okay? Okay, so one thing about security and, you know, all levels of security is the presentation of a security guard is not necessarily what you see me dressed in right now. An example of that is we were doing the Century Plaza Hotel, and we had Hillary Clinton coming to speak when she was running for president there with a very, very good organization that does a lot of great work, Public Counsel, that does a lot of work for the legal realm. And they had a function, and Hillary Clinton was about to arrive, and at that point I saw this guy run straight past me at the hotel and run downstairs. And I looked at the guy and I said, wow, I mean, that guy doesn't fit the image of security at all. I mean, he really kind of threw me off. And I went downstairs to follow the guy who happened to have had dreads, who happened to be very short, who happened to be in blue jeans and sneakers and a Army-style jacket. And I walked up to the other Secret Service guys and I said, by the way, do you know who this guy is? And they said, that's our boss.
I love it.
And really, the point is that it's like anything else, like a good person, bad person, you know, profiling in anything that you do is really not the right thing to do, because you just never know who a person is. And in this case, I was wrong. And I walked up to him and I said, you know, congratulations, welcome, nice to meet you. And at the end, he got in the car, he got in the same door as Hillary Clinton, and they drove off. And he was right in the, she was here, and he was here, and you would never know. You would if you saw him walking here right now, you'd probably call the cops.
So he was
Maybe not. What's that?
He was incognito.
He was incognito, and that's what we try to do in our security. You know, when you go to places, if you go to big events, they've got guys in there with jeans hanging out. When the president goes places, there's guys with jeans. There's guys hanging out in the back. There's guys that look like they're mopping the floor, and they're Secret Service guys. You know, that's how you dress it up. And like I said to people when we do crime prevention meetings, which I do a lot of, I tell people that when a person comes in to do a terrorist act or a lone shooter event, you have to hit him with the element of surprise, because that's what he's hitting you with.
Right.
So if you see a fire extinguisher and a guy's coming in to rob the place or hold you up, take that fire extinguisher, let him walk through the door and smash him in the head. You know, and that's what you got to do. So
ask questions later.
And ask questions later. Element of surprise.
I'm with that.
You have to be. You have to be.
Another question for you is how, because you've been doing this for many years, right?
This will be probably my 30-something year.
Years. And now we've got this digital media thing going. There's this face recognition, cameras, and all this technology. How has that game changed with the use of technology?
Well, if anything, it's going to make it better. But like anything else, the criminal element is an element that if you put this on to close it and make it look closed, and you have to break that seal, they'll put a pin needle in here and shoot in something and maybe just touch it up right here, and you won't know. So it's a helpful thing.
Wow.
It's a helpful thing, but criminals are at work on trying to make you a victim.
Right.
That's what they do. You know, you create a credit card with the little seal, the chip.
Yes.
They create something to read that chip.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So it's all the criminals. We've got to keep up the technology nonstop because they're working on trying to break the technology that we. The moment it comes out is the moment they try to break it.
Wow.
Let's touch on the security that you are preparing with you and your team for the big event that we have coming up on February.
Okay.
Can you share a little bit more or less, what's the preparation, like manpower-wise?
Well, I'm not going to give any secrets to Manpower because I know there's a zillion people watching the show, and I'm not going to tell a bad person.
Some of them are trying to sneak into this.
They're trying to sneak in to get into this event.
No one can sneak in.
And from what I understand, they're turning people away already. They got so many people coming to this thing. They want to come to her tremendous show, but they're turning away.
You're trying to invite people.
So let me give you this is what I do. Okay. I believe, and that's why we made the adjustments that we made at the venue. If you got 5 doors coming in, you got 5 different opportunities for somebody to try to get into to avoid being caught doing something negative. So by having a central place where people walk into, that gives me the edge to see something that's not right. By having people walk out of a door that they already came out of and not walk back into that door, but they have to yet walk around to another door to get in, which is our main door. That gives me control. That gives the security control.
In and out.
Yes.
In and out. So you can leave, but you can't come back in. So in other words, through that same door. An example of that is in a building through Los Angeles. If you go down the stairwell, you can go down the stairwell and exit out of the bottom. But you can't go down the stairwell, jump into another floor, and enter into another floor. Because fire code, you have to have it that way. So that's the point I'm trying to assess. Yeah.
Yes.
So we have one entry to get in.
Oh, I love
And with all the security and the red carpet and,
Very good.
And you can leave at all entries, but you can't get in.
Yeah.
And the goal is the security guys to look and make sure that if he sees somebody coming back to that door, he says, "I'm sorry, but I need to direct you to the main door."
And they're going to check wristbands.
And they check the wristband.
So do you think we'll ever be in a place where we don't need security, or is that just the way we are? There's always people that
Trying to sneak into
have an
events that they haven't
agenda.
paid for.
That's a good question, and I'll tell you this to answer that question. The life of security evolves around the circumstances that present itself. The day that 9/11 took place, the world changed, security changed, working functions in Beverly Hills changed, schools changed. So if a bombing happens at the school, I get a call from 20 different clients of mine saying, Lewis, we need more guards at the school. We need more armed guards. We want to change this. We want to change that. Honestly, 9/11 changed my life. That was the day that I woke up a different man, dealing with a totally different company that went from 40 employees to almost 300 employees to 80 to 90 clients, growing daily by the day. And it's a different world out there. I mean, everything is different now. Everything is different. You have to be proactive. I don't know if you saw the news today, but last night, but there was a girl walking. She was totally on her phone. A guy grabs her bag and drags her through an alley in New York, not New York, in L.A. Now, that could have been prevented if she really did not have the phone, and she was so, people walk down the street all the time. They're not even looking in front. They almost get hit by cars, distracted. That guy looked for that person to attack, grab her bag, throw her to the floor. Somebody came to her defense, but you got to keep your eyes open. You got to know. When I came to the building, I saw a lady walking down the street. I said hello. I saw a guy in the front of the building when I came in. I saw an office down to the opposite side that had phones in it. Nobody was there. There was a bunch of furniture in there. You got to keep an eye. What happened? Who did you see? Did you see anything strange? Did you see anybody when you came in? How many cameras were here? It's like walking into the set. You come in and one of the cameras are missing. You've been robbed. Now, if you don't recognize that one of the cameras are missing, you're not going to realize it till you go to film, because that camera's not going to be there. So everything you have to observe and keep your eyes open and watch and know and see.
We just came back from Brazil, so we just did a seminar in Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Oh, very nice.
And so I'm a person that's on my phone all the time. I'm unfortunately not a person that looks around my surroundings very much. I remember my dad got robbed several times because he was sort of in his own little bubble, in his own little world, and he would go to the ticket counter at the airport and change his flight, and meanwhile all of his luggage was behind him and he wouldn't even look at it, and people would take his stuff. And so I don't know where that habit comes from, but probably that's where it comes from. And then when I was in Brazil and I'm on the street with my phone, they told me right away, no. You need to put your phone away. You need to be present, because it's a common thing that people would just run up to you and grab your phone or something. So it's sad. I mean, great for business, great for people in a way, because you're able to help us and protect us. But it's sad that the world is where it's at. 9/11, absolutely game changer. Before 9/11, it was a different world. Right.
We're going to take a break and show the video and come back if we're ready, and then we're going to come back and talk about, I also wanted to talk about, because this is a big thing, if we can take a break, about schools.
Okay, absolutely.
That's a big concern. At least it is for me too, for a lot of people. If we can go in and show the videos and come back. Thank you.
You can make it if you try. And that is certainly what Lewis Perry of California believes. He is a living example of going against all the odds to live a life beyond the dream.
As a kid, I lived on the 3rd floor right here in this projects here, and it was the start of my journey.
Walking through the public housing projects he grew up in, Lewis Perry recalls how tough life was as a child living in poverty in Brooklyn. His daily life was a routine of avoiding violence, drugs, and apathy.
Life was very rough. I mean, every day walking out of your house, every single day, there was a challenge. Coming home late, you never know what was going to happen here. I actually thought at one point that this was it for me. This was all there was in life.
Lewis felt trapped in a world of poverty, a place filled with a vicious cycle of mediocrity. He wanted to break free from the clutches of just getting by. He desired to be extraordinary.
One of the things my mother said to me is, go to church, save money, and go to school.
Following his mother's advice, Lewis broke free from the projects, moving from New York to Los Angeles, California, where he attended college. Education and hard work eventually paved the way for Lewis to build a career and business in the private security industry.
And I just realized that the more I worked, the more I learned, the more I educated myself, the more I talked to people of all races, all creeds, all religions, all sexual preferences, the more better my life became.
Where he is today is a far cry from the life he once knew. With an attitude of excellence, he created Kadima Security, which employs more than 300 people. His company protects high-profile people like Lindsay Lohan, Joan Rivers, and many more. His work has been so great that he has earned the task of providing security for 3 former presidents, Ronald Reagan, Bill Clinton, and George Bush Sr.
The one that really stands out the most to me, and my favorite, to be quite honest with you, is Bush Sr. The interesting thing about him was when you meet a president, generally a president will just, hi, shake hands, and move on. But George Bush Sr. was interesting because he actually stopped me and said, "And you are?" He actually cared to know who he was meeting. Not to say the others don't necessarily, but he made an effort to say, "And you are," and that was impressive to me.
Lewis has come a long way from the projects of Brooklyn. Beyond his
Hey,
successful
welcome
career,
back. That was
he mentored young
amazing.
people.
You
Thank you.
have done so much, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
Veronica, we want to be safe.
Yes.
So I think one of the most concerns that everybody's having lately, in at least in the United States, are the safety in the schools.
Yeah.
What is going on with that? I mean, we even got a phone call, right? Like about less than a year ago, there was some. I think it was a joke or it wasn't real, but kids with guns. What do you think about that? Or is there anything we can do with that?
Well, the school thing and the gun thing, really, it starts with the parents. I have kids, and I also have guns in the house. I have guns in my office.
How old are your kids? Sorry.
I have a 18-year-old named Adam, a 22-year-old named Justin, a 23-year-old named Mirage, and of course my wife Paulina. Should I name my dogs? No. Okay. So to make, really, to be honest with you, the gun situation is really a training thing. Whereas I think that every school in today's environment has to have a security person trained, working the front entryway that a person comes in. Again, you can leave through any door, but through that front door that you come in, there should be a security person. Now, do I think there should be a metal detector? Yes, I do. Do I think kids should go in
That's
the
great.
elements of different areas? Okay, for example, it could happen anywhere. But I remember working for a guy that, I remember working for a person that did a lot of work with the different departments. And I remember that he basically used to tell me, "Lewis, I just want to let you know that, there's different communities that have addresses that you can look up, and it'll tell you the probability of you getting robbed at what time of the day, at what day of the week, in this certain block, in this certain neighborhood."
Statistics.
Those are statistics.
Yeah.
Now, with those statistics, if you look at them and you evaluate them, and you have a school that has a large amount of violence, gang activity, and the kids that are going to the school are related to gangs, you should maybe have a metal detector. You should have a detector that's going to tell people, "Hey, you know what? We need to check these kids when they come through." And talk to the parents about it. Let the parents know we're doing this for the safety of the kid. There's too many shootings going on today, and people need to report bullying. That's another big thing. Kids are getting bullied left and right. They're getting bullied to the point where they figure, look, my life is terrible. Everybody hates me. Nobody thinks I'm of value. So I'm going to go there and kill everybody in the school and then kill myself, because that's how it always plays out.
What do you think of, I heard that President Trump was looking to pass a law that would allow the teacher or a teacher to have a weapon in the classroom or in the school.
Worse.
Yeah, that's just
That's
ridiculous.
worse. I mean,
Did you say metal detector?
Metal detectors.
How far do we go? That's the question.
I think metal detectors would work. I think to have a teacher that is not trained,
Exactly.
not maybe has issues of their own.
Yes. Now you give him a weapon.
Now you give them a weapon. I mean, we just had a school where a student was cursing out a teacher and calling him, negativity, and the teacher beat the hell out of the kid in the class. Some people said he deserved it. Some people said it shouldn't have happened.
Yes.
But when you say that that's your son that happened to, it changes everything.
Yes, that's a different story.
So honestly, I think the best thing, in my view, is that people need to really, really sit down and engage conversation. Let me tell you, this country is divided right now. You have different races against different races. You have economical levels against different economical levels. You have color of skin issues against color of skin. The whole situation is a mess. We as not just Americans, we as a people need to come together and respect each other's differences, black, white, Muslim, Jew, what have you, and we need to root out the evil and do what's appropriate with these people. Either educate them if they could be educated, or they need to be put away because they're going to cause violence or anger. There's always a track record to these things. When you research a person that's a problem, there's always a track record.
There's always a history.
There's always a history, exactly. So with that history, we just need to be more and more proactive instead of reactive. And look, a kid, you can't walk into a school now and jokingly say, I can't stand that teacher, I want to shoot her. If they hear that, that's going to go to the teacher. The teacher's going to call the police. It's a different day now.
Yeah, it's different now.
Back in the day, people could joke and say whatever. You can't say that. Just like the Me Too movement.
Yes.
I mean, as a kid from Brooklyn, New York, I see people. I say, hey, sweetheart, darling, I love you. Thank you for the great meal, or thank you for everything, or a hug, this, that, and that. You can't do that anymore.
Yes.
Wow.
The world, everything has changed.
Yes.
Everything has changed, and you have to obey that change, else you're going to find yourself in trouble. Schools, in closing, we need to have security at every school. We need to have a polygraph test for the teachers if they're going to have a gun, and make sure they're trained properly. But we definitely should have a security guy there. There should be a metal detector at every school that every kid should go through to get checked out, because there's been too many shootings, and it's not a healthy thing. To go to school and be worried about Joe going 5150, which means going crazy, and shooting up everybody is not the way to go and have an education. You should be able to go in education and have peace. It's a bad situation.
I grew up in Thailand, in Asia. I've never ever heard of any shooting in any school.
I'm not going to say
Before
it's
9/11, right?
Yeah, I'm not going to say it's an American thing.
Yes.
But
maybe
I'm gonna
we're
say
allowing guns.
it's-
I mean, there are countries that don't allow guns. I mean, there are a lot of countries not allowed guns. I mean, just people don't have guns in their house. It doesn't have,
Well, I tell you, for me, I mean, I'm not going to go into my hiding places, but I'm going to tell you that the way I've arranged things is, if somebody comes in my house, they pick the wrong house. Because if if my guns don't get them, I have a Rottweiler dog at home that will definitely do the job. But forget that. Here's the thing. Too many times you have situations where you're a beautiful couple. Do you have any kids?
She has kids, I have kids, yeah.
So you both have kids?
Yes.
You don't want to be home having a beautiful dinner and one day somebody kicks your door, comes in, rapes your wife, kills your daughters, rapes your daughters, God forbid.
Yeah.
And then it happens every day.
Yeah.
It's a sad, sick thought, but it happens.
Yes.
So for me, once I know somebody has intruded on my property with my family, my kids sleeping in a room, they've come to the wrong house.
Yes.
And that's it. Once they walk in that door, my gun is in my hand,
Yes.
and I'm not shooting to kill them. I'm shooting to stop them.
Yes.
I'll leave it at that.
But you're allowed to shoot them.
Absolutely. When they're in your house, inside your door, you are allowed to shoot them.
And I
Yes.
so resonate with you because, Kaya and I will talk about, we do have in the ranch, we have like 2.5 acres of property. So there's quite a bit of territory to cover and keep it safe. And I have little ones in there. So we have Italian King Corsos.
Those are great dogs.
And they're amazing, except that they get in trouble with the neighbors. Sometimes when the cat comes into it, then there's no more cat.
When a cat jumps into your property,
Yes.
they went to the wrong house.
Yes,
To the wrong
and that's what I
house.
said. And not only that, but what I was telling Kaya is because, I do own a Beretta 9mm semi-automatic, and I'm very good with it.
Right.
And he asked me one day, he goes, would you be able to, if the opportunity presents, would you have what it takes to shoot? I said, oh, no problem.
Well, not
because once a person
might
is
be
in
looking
it,
forward to
let me tell you, if she's from Ecuador, she has no problem. My wife's from Ecuador. And if my wife had that gun, I wouldn't ask her that question. I would ask her, honey, if I piss you off, will you shoot me?
right. Yeah.
That's the question you need to ask her.
Yeah.
Because my wife will shoot me. She'll may shoot you. Forget about your neighbors. Forget about the robbers. Don't piss her off. Because she will shoot you.
oh my God.
Are we ready? Can we show the next video and come back? Thank you.
To a 7-Eleven or walking into a store saying, give me all your money, and walking out. Now, a 7-Eleven and a casino are very, very different.
Security expert Louis Perry says this armed bandit, covered from head to toe, complete with gloves and a helmet, may think he got away with quite a crime, but
There's thousands and thousands of cameras in a room, and people are just watching it, looking for what we refer to in the business as red flag items.
just before 4 a.m. at the Bellagio, cameras watched the thief in action, but wonder why guards didn't apprehend him?
You obviously definitely want to think of the safety of the customers first. You don't want to get into a gunfight in the middle of a Florida casino so innocent people can get shot.
In his nearly $2 million take, the thief had chips as valuable as $25,000 apiece. But police say playing those chips or turning them in won't be easy.
The industry has some safeguards in place that make that, I don't want to say not impossible, but it makes it extremely difficult.
In fact, we were granted special access at a different casino, the Stratosphere Casino, several years ago, to show you the Vegas most people don't get to see. In that casino alone, 1,400 eyes in the sky catch every angle, every move, and that's not all the casinos use to catch crooks. A widely known security measure casinos use is placing a security code inside high-dollar chips.
A chip within a chip that tells them that chip belongs to a certain casino in Vegas or wherever it may be.
And many casinos are able to track hot chips like banks do with stolen money, so the thief could go back for his big payout and wind up in a pair of handcuffs instead. I'm Suzanne Marquez. Rick, back to you.
I thank you, Suzanne.
Yes, so that's amazing. We are going to hopefully keep our schools safe.
If we do the necessary things, yes.
Well, I hope so. I mean, I think the most precious thing that we all have in this world is our children.
Absolutely.
So I think that's the future. Is there anything else you would like to say to the audience and about you and your company and about this just overall security, right?
Well, I think for me, majority of your audience is what? Would you
Everywhere.
say? Everywhere. Okay. So, first of all, let me say, it's been a great run for me. Everybody in life gets a card dealt to them. And
I'm so sorry. I also like your car. I like your car.
The car down, the other car, the car to
The car that I took a picture with.
Oh yeah, that's the.
Tell me about your car too.
Well, in that car, it's been a lot of people. Dr. Murray was in there, Lindsay Lohan. A lot of celebrities have been in that car. Around, it's been everywhere. That car.
It's bulletproof.
And it's bulletproof, and it's a major vehicle. It's a beast. I call it the beast. But to make a long story short, let me tell you this. The Beverly Hills community, as a kid, has adopted me. I was a kid from Brooklyn that really didn't know much about anything, and I was like growing up in an Italian neighborhood, Irish neighborhood, Latin neighborhood, African American neighborhood, around all kinds of people, as I said. And between the Jews, the Muslims, and all races and creeds, they've accepted me. They've taken me into their life. They've made me like a son, and shared a lot of blessings in my life that gave us the creation of Kadima, my partners, the Yeshua Fars, wonderful family from Beverly Hills. It's been a great run, and I thank them for having trust in me. A lot of people say, well, the Jews only stay with the Jews, the Muslims only stay with the Muslims. As a Latino Dominican, they've accepted me, and I'm proud to be accepted as a son of that heritage from different cultures and the love they've showed me. And I thank you, the viewers, for allowing me to be part of this great show. And I can't wait till the 24th when you rock the city with your great show.
We're going to be
two power players here.
So we're going to be very safe, very secured,
Absolutely.
and we're going to make sure that everyone, no one can get in, no one can get out.
Absolutely.
Well, we can get out. They can get out, but they can't get in.
And
If they're not supposed to be
there is
in
one
there.
last thing. Be careful with Special Agent 007. She will grab your neck, your Adam's apple, and bring you to the
She
ground.
doesn't even need a gun. She just needs
I don't need a
her
gun.
2 fingers.
Or she may have that ankle holster on. Be careful.
Yeah.
We're so excited. And where would people find you? I mean, you're amazing, and I'm so
Well,
excited that I'll be,
Yes.
having such
Thank you.
people
I'm getting
like you.
inspired just listening to
Oh
him.
my
to
God!
go back
I
and
wish
start
I had.
shooting
I
again.
wish I had shown the audience. I will put it in later. The picture that I took with your car. Your car is so cool.
Thank you.
It's better than all the limos in this town.
Well, yeah, it's bulletproof. Anybody.
Bulletproof, yeah. And it looks cool.
It's very cool.
Did you bring it with you today?
Yeah, she's parked around the corner,
Yeah.
outside, around the corner.
Oh,
Right.
we could have taken our show there.
Probably being towed as we speak. No, I'm kidding. Louis Perry is my name. The company name is Kadima Security. My official webpage is louisperry.net. May I give a telephone number?
Sure.
My telephone number to the office is 213-688-3019. And also the email address for me is lperry@kadimasecurity.com. I thank you guys for the great show and letting me be a part of it. I know you guys do a lot of great things in the community. Samira, I've heard some wonderful things about your contribution to society and your contribution to the community and your contribution to a lot of different businesses, networking people together, helping people. You have a big heart, and I'm sure the community appreciates you. And I hope that the 24th will be one show that leads into many, many, many big shows that you will put on. And even though I know that you're somewhere about 700-800 people trying to get in the door, and you've cut off 300 of them, I hope that as you continue to succeed, the venue will grow and it will be bigger.
Yes.
And it'll go from 700 to 1,000 to 1,500 to 2,000 to 3,000. Maybe you'll even have the party at Dodger Stadium someday. Who knows? But God bless you and thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much.
Thank
I just want to say that this is an amazing show. To see Samira put a show for this magnitude together, it takes commitment, it takes class, it takes knowledge, it takes hard work, and it takes the ability to dream and make dreams come to reality. This is a wonderful event. I honestly never met Samira. I did not know much about her, but after seeing what's here tonight and the amount of quality of everything, Samira has done an amazing job. She's amazing. And I tell you, I think she's got a lot of big shows to come up. This is just the beginning. She's going to be producing a lot of big shows. We may even see her produce the Oscars someday. Who knows? She's got talent. She knows how to put it together. And the budget, I'm sure she did it with a nice-sized budget, but she did a great job. Thank God for Samira, and thank God for her great work. Many, many, many great shows to come. God bless. Wonderful event. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Hi, this is Herminia here at the Oscar Viewing Gala with Samira's Network. I have an honor to introduce this beautiful couple.
Hi, Louis Perry and my wife, Paulina Perry. And it's an honor to be here. Matter of fact, the Royal Samira. Samira, can I see you for 1 second in there, please? The Royal Samira, who's the one that put this whole function together, and a powerful woman that it really made it happen. She had a desire, a dream, and she was able to follow through with her dream. And basically, that's what it's all about. This is a tremendous woman. And my wife, Paulina, this is Samira. My wife, Paulina, thank you for everything. It's a beautiful event. Beautiful, thank you.
But it's an honor to be, yes, Kadima Security, it is, yes.
Kadima Security has worked with many presidents. He has worked with 4 presidents. Could you tell us which presidents you worked with?
We do all the high-profile events all over the country, from Michael Bloomberg to the Saudi royal family. I own Kadima. I'm also the inspector for all the fights that come all over the United States, all the boxing, Mayweather Productions, everybody. So it's been a beautiful life. I have a beautiful wife and a beautiful friend here, and we're glad to be here tonight.
Thank you.
Thank
We're
you.
so honored you're here. Thank you.
Thank you. And I do all the Habads too, by the way. All the Jewish community, 90% of everything in LA. I do Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 7, Channel 9, all the newscasts. Just look up the name Louis Perry and it'll start blowing up.
Wow, and I want to thank you for that. Security is very important.
Ajá. ¿Y de dónde es?
Yeah, soy latina mexicana.
Ah, perfecto.
Yeah.
Está muy bonito.